So, most people probably already know, Tory Lanez, where it was the state versus Daystar Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez, has been found guilty in the criminal case, and also some more evidence kind of came out recently. There was the call that he made from jail that came out. He made to Kelsey. Kelsey, who used to be the former best friend of Megan Thee Stallion. And this case is kind of had a lot of other different issues kind of come into it. And with the case is this high profile, that's kind of going to happen. Much like how I was listening to the show Higher Learning, which has Van Lathan. Van Lathan used to be part of TMZ. Now he does a show with the Ringer Network called Higher Learning. And he brought up an example of the OJ case, how the OJ case wasn't just about O.J. Simpson. It was about race relations within L.A. This was, the O.J. case was also after the race riots that happened with Rodney King, the Rodney King beating. So it was, more than just O.J. on trial. It was also the historical racism of the LAPD that was on trial there. And I think with this case, you saw a lot more involved in it, and particularly, women versus men, specifically, black women versus black men. I think a lot of people saw it as that, the misogynoir of it all, kind of what was kind of going on there. And I haven't been, I've been learning about the case now that it's over. I've been kind of catching up on it. I haven't followed it since its inception of when it happened. When it kind of first happened, it's kind of easy to say now, of course, now that the verdict is out there, but I always kind of thought that it was, pretty much that he did it. I mean, given that Tory Lanez is also, if you look back, there's I'll pull it up. There's a thread that you can see of the guy's got a history of violence. If you've seen it, like somebody pull it up, like, him getting into different fights with different people, and this is, no pun intended, but it seems like the dude's got a little bit of a short fuse, no pun intended, anything like that. So it seems like he's kind of got a little bit of an anger problem there. So I'm gonna kind of pass it around, kind of give you guys perspective on it, and if your kind of thoughts on the case. Hunter, what do you think about it?
Yeah. Okay. So this is just stupid. Like, just straight up, it's fucking dumb. Like, there's no reason to ever be that drunk at all. And so when I heard the audio where he's like, I was just so fucking drunk I didn't know what happened, I went, man, that's a you problem. You really shouldn't be drunk enough that you're gonna pull a gun on somebody. And for him to shoot my future ex-wife, obviously that hurt. But but at the same time, just to see people trying to spin it, it's like, y'all just, and it's well, I fuck it, I'll go here. Black folks are so quick to like celebrate in our successes, which is a good thing and a bad thing. And so the amount of people I saw trying to defend this motherfucker for what he did, I went, come on, y'all, let's we need to hold each other accountable when we fuck up, and he fucked up royally, and he'll have plenty of time to think about it because he's damn sure going to jail. And it's just a lesson to all these these young brothers in the game who want to come up. Like, you need to be careful. You need to not act a fool. There's no, like, Biggie and Pac was how long ago? Like, at some point, it's like, y'all, we need to be learning from the history that's been laid out before us. And so the fact that he got himself in this situation, yeah, dude, enjoy jail. No sympathy.
Barbie, what do you?
I think just to like show how scary misinformation is, because most people are getting like their information from gossip pages. Like, they weren't actually reading about the show. And it was like really easy to distract people with that, because somebody could say, "Oh, Meg lied about sleeping with Tory Lanez," or Meg fought her best friend over Tory Lanez, and people just kind of like forgot about him shooting somebody, and then just started focusing on Meg's sexual history, and it was just like seeing how misinformed people are and how they just run with anything they hear. That's scary.
Yeah. Because I believe No Jumper, which is the Adam 22 ran blog place, they put out a verdict of that the verdict was not guilty. Before like any good verification, they put out. I think they jumped the gun and said, "Oh, it's not guilty," when it was guilty. So they had to kind of run and cover that up. And when I was watching that podcast with the higher learning one, they did have the reporter on there, who also, her name is Megan. They call her Megan the reporter. She was covering the whole kind of case of what was going on, and they were talking about how maybe lawyers focus too much on the outside chatter of kind of what's kind of going on in cases in the social media and all that, the court of public opinion too much, instead of focusing on what's going on in the case. And I think that played a part into maybe the demise of Tory Lanez, because maybe his defense team was trying to bring up all this, stuff about, like, Barbie mentioned about Meg's sexual history, because, kind of, scrolling through timeline, Twitter, things like that, not really paying a whole bunch of attention. Like, I thought Ben Simmons was going to come into the courtroom or something, or, the baby was kind of going to come in there, everything like that. I was like, what does this have to really do with anything? And it seemed to kind of focus on this, like you said, her sexual history, which, it really didn't amount to anything.
It means nothing. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the thing that's so frustrating. Like, people are like, oh, she sleeps around, so that warrants shooting people? Like that's what's so incredibly goddamn stupid. And it feels like everyone's dancing around it. So I'll say it. If you're one of those people who think that her sexual history in any way, shape, or form is relevant to this case, you're a fucking moron. And to see people taking that stance, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, she got shot. It's pretty open and shut. Because clearly, because he's fucking guilty. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and people are acting like this motherfucker's like 16. Like, motherfucker's 30. You should know better at 30 years old to not be drunk enough to shoot somebody. Like,
Yeah.
come on, y'all.
Chris, what do you think?
Just to piggyback off of Hunter's point, I think it was like a week or two ago, but no, at this point, maybe 2 weeks ago, another rumor or something was released that Tory Lanez's fingerprints weren't found on the weapon. He's the first piece of evidence that hinted towards him being innocent. And then the following week, no, he's found guilty on all charges, but before that happened, before he was actually proven, guilty, when that little rumor was released that his fingerprints weren't on the weapon, everyone was so quick to bash Meg and rally behind Tory, and just black culture, hip hop culture. We love our women until we don't. We believe in our women until we don't. It's really sad. Us, leaving black women. Leaving black women because they, as Malcolm X said, they are the most disrespected, unprotected being in this country. So this is just another example of that. And Tory Lanez is guilty. He's in jail, and I never had any doubt in Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you said, a lot of things got kind of brought into this case, and all these kind of outside aspects there, and people kind of bringing their own kind of bias into this. And I think with the kind of situation was arising, do you all think that maybe Megan made a mistake by going to the internet as much as she did? Maybe do you think she made a mistake in that instance? Maybe or no?
Yeah, yeah. Like the internet's a bad place in general. If you're just a civilian, let alone for celebrity, like it. There's just nothing there for you. Like for the people who will support you, you'll probably have double, if not triple, the people saying stupid, ignorant shit. So like, if I was a celebrity and I was involved in I'll be real. I hate going on Twitter and seeing what people say on some of my reviews. I'm just like, oh fuck, all right, like, so I can't even imagine what she was dealing with, and this is what, a month after Drake dropped that shitty song talking about her. Which, can we talk about how like just shitty Drake is for a second? Like, Drake's got some bangers. Like, I mean, yeah, most rappers do, but goddamn, what a piece of shit human being seems to be. Anyways, but yeah, it's just don't go online. Like, I respect celebrities who don't have social media and just go like, yeah, I don't want to deal with it. It's like, I don't blame you, because it's just, social media is such a cesspool, especially Twitter, of no fault of the owner. But it's just one of those places that just seems to drudge up like the worst in humanity, unfortunately. So
Barbie, what do you think? Do you think she made a mistake by maybe doing a little bit too many IG lives, or some, like maybe something like that too much, or anything like that, in your opinion?
Yeah, just because like being vulnerable can't be really something, especially with her being a black woman and a famous black woman at that. People were already hell bent on making her out to be a liar and making it out to be her fault. So it seemed like every time she went online to like explain the trauma that she suffered from and explain the incident, people were like taking that and like using it as entertainment. Like nobody was taking her trauma seriously. I feel like that just had to be like such like a triggering situation for her, and it probably would have been better if she would have just taken a break off of social media because people were just really cruel to her.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be, I mean, she had a lot of support, but like Hunter said, you could have a lot of support as equal many people probably support you. Then, there's going to be the same amount of people that kind of, also hate you for there. And then there's I got a good quote up that she did say. She said, I wish he would have just shot and killed me if I knew I was going to have to go through this torture. I have to go through this torture. I mean, that kind of exemplifies, I guess, a lot of, her feelings and attitude, I mean, towards all the stuff that she went through. And this was 2 years. I mean, people were questioning whether she got shot or not. The theories, people believing she didn't even get shot at all. People, saying that it wasn't Tory. And everything. And I think now with the call that came out, and I'm going to play a little bit of the call that happened that got recorded there from that he made from jail. That a lot of, even I think the most hardcore Tory defender can even go like, yeah, it seems like that's a wrap. I mean, it seemed like he was kind of admitting to it there, kind of there. So I don't think even the most hardcore Tory defenders can even excuse the call. And in the call, which he was making to Kelsey, I mean, it's basically what he also said, because he also did do a text message where he also did apologize. But then you hear a call where he's just talking about how drunk he was and how he's sorry, and kind of repeating that kind of over and over again. Yeah, I mean, that seems to pretty much be the nail in the coffin there, I think, for anybody that had any other doubts there, really. And when the interview I saw with the Megan the reporter, and she was talking about the face of the jurors that were there, and saying that a lot of the jurors, I mean, because it seemed like it was a pretty fast decision, like, like they came back, it wasn't a lot of delegation there. It was like pretty quick, the decision. So it seems like his chance for an appeal seems kind of not that strong, since the decision was made pretty quickly. And I don't think, I mean, the maximum he could do is 22 plus years. Like, I think it's like 20 plus years. I don't think he's going to do 20 plus years. But I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I did get my law degree from Hulu.com. I've watched all the seasons of Law and Order. You know what I mean? I've watched, you know what I mean, Law and Order SVU season 1 to season 23. Also the spinoff shows, you know, everything like that. But I don't know. I mean, when I was listening to the interview with Megan, the reporter, she was just saying that could be maybe 10, but I mean, she doesn't really know. There.
He'll get 8 years tops. I'm telling you right now. Like you bookmark that. He'll get 8 years tops.
Yeah, I'm thinking even probably less than that. I'm thinking. So what'd you say, Barbie? I'm sorry.
I was thinking maybe like 5 years, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like 5. I'm thinking probably like 5 years. I'm thinking it's probably the max he'll probably get. Yeah, I mean, so what did this? I mean, does this case kind of expose anything to any of you all? Uh, Barbie, did it kind of expose some stuff for you with this case?
I feel like it didn't expose anything to me. Like, I was aware of the misogynoir in the Black community, but I feel like it just made it harder for people to deny that it existed because you see like so many high profile people siding with Tory Lanez, knowing that he shot somebody, and then this is like right. Well, when we learned that she got shot, that was like right in the middle of like the Black Lives Matter protests and things like that when we were talking about George Floyd and violence against Black people. So for people to just turn around and say like, well, I don't care, I don't support her just because she's saying that a Black man shot her.
Yeah, because I did see some people say that she was kind of playing on the Black Lives Matter thing, playing on the protect Black women in order to manipulate the situation. And I mean, I understand some people having some, kind of, like to pause a little bit and wait, which is fine if you just want to not jump out and immediately make a decision and wait for all the evidence to come in. But while you're doing that, you kind of have to shut the fuck up a little bit. You can't just, like, if you're going to make the stance that I'm also waiting for all the evidence to come out, you also can't just be online saying things and, kind of, asserting things. Chris, did it kind of show you anything, any deep-rooted problems, you think?
Didn't show me anything I didn't already know. It's just the thing that comes with being a celebrity is this weird sense of protection. It's like it reminds me of a conversation in Hawkeye between Kate Bishop and Yelena when Yelena's like, so because he's an Avenger, he can do whatever he wants and never be held accountable for his actions because he's an Avenger. Like, the way, another example, the way Snoop Dogg is so vocal about free R. Kelly, and we're like, no, like sometimes R. Kelly's wrong. R. Kelly needs to be in jail. Like, no, don't free R. Kelly. Like, it is ridiculous. The length and the heights we reach when it comes to defending Black celebrities, especially men. So it's unfortunate when social justice, phrases and chants are manipulated and used. But in this case, that wasn't what was happening. Megan Thee Stallion was telling the truth. She was shot, and she needed the community to surround her and protect her, and it didn't. It didn't. So that's my takeaway. It's a very sad situation, but luckily, justice was served.
Yeah, and I know, I see some Black men talking about, now all of a sudden people believe in the criminal justice system. Now all of a sudden people want to celebrate the criminal justice system when people have talked about, how corrupt it is, how evil it is. I mean, my response to something like that is, I mean, people celebrated when the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, when they were found guilty and, they got put under the jail, people celebrated, Me personally, I don't believe that prison is a good rehabilitation service. I don't think it does good for people that go in it, and everything like that. So, I mean, that's my stance on it. So I'm not jumping up for joy that the guy got put, in prison or is about to be put in prison. But he also shot somebody. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that kind of solves the issue. He also shouldn't have had a gun when he was on probation. What do you need a gun for? You got security. You're a famous guy. Why do you need a gun? That is also another major issue there. I mean, it's not like he has a reputation of being a hardcore gangster rapper that he has an image to protect. He's not like NBA YoungBoy or 21 Savage or somebody like that. So I don't know why you have to, portray that you think you're this tough guy. I mean, nobody thinks of you like that. So that was kind of also something that's very weird and very kind of suspicious there, that you feel like you have to do that. So yeah, that's kind of, I think some of my kind of things there. Hunter, did it kind of, expose anything for you, with the case kind of going on?
Honestly, it speaks how people muddy the waters because people want to be like the sexism thing, which it is, but points you need to actually take that step back and actually let the facts come out. Because the thing is, especially in the climate we're in, people are so afraid to be wrong, and people actually change your opinion. Sometimes you get shit wrong. Sometimes you go, oh fuck, all right, I didn't. This piece of information came out, so actually I'm switching my stance to this. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. So if you posted something, maybe you had the game, you're like, oh shit, my bad. Own it. It's fine. But we really don't allow that little room for grace is just kind of gone because everyone wants to be right from jump, and it's pretty much impossible to always be right from jump. But this was one of those things that just from jump seems so obvious to me. I'm like, he shot her, he needs to go to jail. This isn't like a sexism thing or a black on black thing. This is a guy who made a dumbass decision. He shouldn't have had a gun in the first place. The fact, the whole gun thing in general, like I don't like guns. I'm not a fan of guns. Never have been. Never will be. But the toxic masculinity in rap music with black men when it comes to violence is something that's been around for so fucking long. And when you think about how we still talk about Pac and Big, it's like, man, we've learned fucking nothing. There's a reason why you have those rappers who. There's a reason why someone like Kendrick talks about, like the hood doesn't need to be your home. You can still represent the hood, but you don't need to be in the hood. There's a reason why that's become a message from a lot of rappers. You don't need to stay in a place of violence just to, improve your cred or whatever. And what this man did was fucking dumb. So, we could talk about the prison system and how that's a whole money making thing with minorities, but that's a whole other conversation for another podcast. But it's one of those things where I just go, yeah, I'm not thrilled he's in jail. It's not something that should be like, hooray, we got him. But at the same time, you know what consequences are. And this is what happens when you have a shitty inner circle around you, and this is what happens when you don't think ahead. So you'll have a lot of time to think about this mistake, and hopefully other black men realize that people don't play around with shit like that. If you're on probation and you have a gun, this could be something that happens to you.
Yeah. And at the beginning of, him trying to work up like a conspiracy theory, like they're trying to come after me because I own my own masters now. I don't know any Tory Lanez song. I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't, gun to my head, I couldn't name it. I couldn't name any Tory Lanez songs, to be honest with you. So I was like, I don't think, you know what I mean? Trying to wrap up people, trying to get people like in a conspiracy theory, like, bro, nobody wants your masters, bro. You know what I mean? And his father trying to come out there talking about Jay-Z and Rock Nation and all that other stuff. I mean, the man can preach. I'll give him that. He can preach. I can give him that. It seems like a lot of the men in his family is a lot of baldness there. Seems like a lot of baldness. It seems like a lot of that going on. But yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that was the verdict there. There was some funny things that kind of came from it a little bit. I like people brought up She-Hulk. They said thank God for She-Hulk helping out Meg Thee Stallion. I thought that was pretty funny. Somebody brought up yeah, so of course she won. She had She-Hulk. So that was pretty funny. Yeah. Any final thoughts at all? Anybody want to give any final things before I move on?
Megan, hit me up on my socials. Drink, girl. Come on. It can take you a second to walk. It's fine.
Barbie, any final word, Barbie?
Not really. No, I'm just happy that he was found guilty, and I don't know. Hopefully, this just makes people more aware of the misogynoir in our community and makes people like do more research about it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was Tory Lanez.